So thank you. And this is not the German Coast Guard, but I'm German. Yes, I am. Also, if my name sounds Italian, that's also right. I'm half Italian. I will show you today. I will focus on social task management. That's an additional feature, or that is something how to use Mind Manager or how to use mind maps in the business environment. I think I don't need to introduce Mindjet as the company. The company, we made the social software supported mind mapping big. Yeah, what else to say? What is Mindjet? Maybe first of all, what is Mindjet? Mindjet is more than just the mind manager, and I think this is a big advantage. We don't only have our world famous known mind manager, a desktop application. We also have mobile applications on all the mobile systems, Android, iOS, let's see, Windows Phone maybe. Web applications, of course, they are cloud-based, as you can see in that nice image, and on-premise. Problems, like already were introduced, the security lag. We can also be based in SharePoint, which is a really good opportunity to create an own cloud. Yeah, that's the type, this is how Mindjet reacts to the market. What is our strategy? Well, we focus a little bit on so-called business projects. And why? We had a nice session where we talked about how to become better and how to come into companies with mind mapping. And we structured down typical projects into 3 phases. The first one is the initial phase, where we sit together, gather our ideas. And to be honest, this is the area where mind mapping is known. And the other 2 areas, that these are advanced users. When we go into planning, how to execute our process, how to do it, and in the end, to execute and to do it. How many people know partners or colleagues that know that you can use mind maps in the execution phase? I don't know that many, a part of all my colleagues. And therefore we want to enable the collaborative work management, collaboration, maybe, I guess everyone has heard the name. We focus on that by using 3 sets of capabilities that come with Mindjet. They are mentioned in the orange area, where we have our intuitive visual framework, the mind map as it is, but on top of that, and this is what developed Mindjet on top, is the data management or document management system, where you can share your documents with your colleagues, and of course social task management. And all those phases, from brainstorming, we gather our first ideas, to organization, to planning, and in the end doing, will be supported with Mindjet, and we can address that. What I want to do today is, I don't want to stay in the presentation, I want to show you how we understand that and how this looks like. And by doing this, I think I will address a lot of the problems that we had in the discussion going on. And therefore, I switched to an example. Just stick with that as the topic. I like that example really much because it's easy to understand. We are talking about a project, so-called business project, and everyone understands how to build a house, what we need to do, what you need to take care of, and therefore I want to stick with that project. Mind map, always clockwise ran, and the pictures already describe it. Me and my wife, first sit together, we gather our ideas. Well, that knows everyone who does a brainstorming or who has heard of mind maps, brainstorming. Yes, we did that. We integrated our information and everything went well. Not only did we integrate our information, no, we went on and structured it for interior costs, interior wishes, extra cost wishes, and exterior wishes. And yes, we also calculate our costs. It's one of the features of the Mind Manager, so that we can make a decision. Maybe we also know decision making on basis of mind maps also works. Okay, nice so far. Then we integrated our documents. So what to do what we need to take care of. You can link documents, of course, from an external drive, from a shared server, from web pages, and many other examples. So maybe you have heard from that yet, or this is new to you. This can also be new. But the advantage is we centralize our information. Still, keep in mind that this is something that we do, or that I did as a project manager, as someone, as a mind map enthusiast. I know mind maps, I want to work with mind maps, and no one else of my colleagues needs to be involved in that process. So far, so good. This is the situation the most of us are in right now. But now, let's go to the next step, where we take a look at our team. Yes, I also did that in my project, because it's related to my project. And therefore, I integrated, as you can see here, my Outlook contacts, maybe other persons, and I made use of the Mind Manager. But now, how to communicate that, or how to guarantee that everyone has access to that data? First of all, now I need to integrate others. Why? Because I don't build my house all by myself. And also, because maybe my wife wants to have a look what I was planning, what the costs are, what wishes, maybe I forgot a few, and I guess I'm pretty sure that I have forgotten a lot of her wishes, and therefore I want to give her access. How is this possible? Well, the cloud problem, or the cloud topic, was also already addressed, so I can give all my colleagues access to my data. As you can see here, this is already the data that is stored in the cloud. I can create folders per account. For example, I have 2 gigabytes. I think this is quite a lot of space per account, per license. And now I can pretty easily share with my wife the folder, for example, to give her access to that document. So what I can see here is a list of all my colleagues that have an account. Pretty obvious that I have a lot of my colleagues in my list, but I can also integrate externals. So I can invite others that may be part of that project, my architect, for example, and give him access to my mind map by just entering his name and his email address. Then he will receive an invitation, and right in that second he has access to all my documents. And as you can see, not only to my mind maps, now the cloud is open to all sorts of documents, so you can store all the project-related documents in that folder so that everyone has access. And you can decide who has access with read-only rights or editor rights. So far so good. We start to open the story. We say, okay, now I have created something for you, you can have a look at it. And it's pretty easy to give him a look at the document. So let's plan how we want to proceed with our project. And as it is typical for a German building, we start with a solid fundament, with a basement. We plan it step by step. Task planning, I don't want to focus too much on the specific features. We created our project plan to have a look at what needs to be done. But now the question, how do I communicate all the persons, how do I communicate to all the guys that are members or part of that project that need to do now something? How do I communicate to them? What are the possibilities? Do I now pick up the phone and call everyone else? I don't think so. Do I drop an email for everyone else? A lot of work. No. We, as I think all of us, are open to mind maps, and we want to use mind maps, and we use mind maps. Why should we create redundant material? We have everything here, so let's communicate out of our map. And therefore, I have integrated the information, when to do something, how long this can take, and who is responsible for it. I can also add priority or whatever. But let's communicate it just by right-clicking, sending to. I now have the possibility to communicate right out of my map via Mindjet Task, our own task management system, via Outlook, or also via SharePoint, like I have mentioned. All systems that are already existing. I will choose Mindjet Task because this is what I wanted to show today. the big advantage is that the tasks will be communicated to all the persons that are a member of that project, and I can assign those tasks to a specific project. For example, here I have a list of all my projects that I have created, and this is already existing. So I assign it to my colleague via Mindjet tasks to my project, and simply send that information. So at that moment, my colleague will be informed that he needs to do something, and I have the nice situation that I don't need to do anything else. I can now relay on the system that he is informed about that. How does it look like? The system creates me a link to that task. So what we can see here, this was a switch over to our web application. You didn't really realize it, or it is not a big act, but as you can see here, I work with Firefox, for example, and this is a look that my colleague could have onto that system. So he knows when he needs to do something, how long, and when it needs to be done. Now he can communicate with me. The communication is also kept in one system, and he can give me an update, for example, about the progress. And what is interesting is that maybe he can't make it. The architect had no time, so he needs to move the due date to next week. And he can also integrate that information with one click. For your information, this is also available via iOS. I think most of you are iOS fans, as well as for Android. So it's just one click on your mobile to say I did it or I didn't. But back in my project map, that is important for me to keep track of my project, to know where am I right now. I can see that the system updated automatically in the background. And not only the status, no, also the time. Now imagine that. You have a step-by-step planning. Maybe step-by-step or all at the same time, depending on how you are thinking. But this is a typical Gantt chart, so like you know it from project, and also like it is in Microsoft project. Each time a date changes, of course, the following tasks will be affected by that. Now think about that. I communicated all the tasks that need to be done to finalize my building, dig out a hole, concrete the basement, and so on and so on, to all my teammates, all the persons that are involved in that process. But now the guy who has to dig the hole, he is sick, or he can make it within time. What does he do? Hey, perfect it would be if he says, okay, I can do it, and mentions, I can do it this week, I will finish it next week. Which means that all the following tasks will now move afterwards, because I can concrete the basement if there is no hole. The nice thing is that the communication will be done automatically by the system. So all the persons that are involved in the process will then be informed that the ongoing tasks will be forwarded, depending on how you configure it, of course. Yeah, and why do I use the cloud, or why it makes it sense to use the cloud? Because I'm not responsible for just one project or two. Most of us have to work a lot of different things, and therefore you can integrate, for example, all the tasks that are assigned to yourself in a map wherever you want to. And now maybe I did something on that task, and I can update it right out of my mind map, and this will be communicated again back into the cloud and to all my colleagues or the project manager. Or also regarding the different projects, I can take a look at how's the status, for example, in my building project from wherever I am right now. And you can see that immediately the update, the actual status will be integrated into the mind map. So I'm always on track. Yeah. Now I'll switch back into my map. So why to use Mindjet? Let's have a look at that. These are points that were already mentioned. For example, the mobile application, you can see how it looks like on the iOS, for example, or you can download it, of course, and register for free the mobile application, and then you can check how this looks like. Or you can also work from wherever you are, from your mobile phone, and update your mind maps. But this is what we already talked about. the centralization of software. Mindjet can substitute, and we have companies that made big contracts because I don't want to harm Microsoft Project, but who worked with Microsoft Project before? Okay, and you're a fan of Microsoft Project? Thank you. I don't want to mention the name, but it's a really big company, and what they did is they had the same experience. So they said, Microsoft Project is really powerful for a professional project manager, but 1 in a million really needs what Microsoft Project is capable of. The others need the capability to draw a Gantt chart, to communicate out of their mind map, to add costs, for example, and that's it. And to be honest, Mindjet or Mind Manager is cheaper than Microsoft Project, and on top of that, we can create mind maps and many other things. So this is a part where you can substitute. A few companies are mentioned, or products are mentioned that could be substituted just as a possibility. What's next to give you an insight of what is going on at Mindjet right now is there are a few things to come. First of all, I think this is something in the mind mapping business right now that is fun. We merged, or let's say we bought a company. I don't want to focus on that. Mindjet and Spigot. Spigot is innovation management company. They 100 persons are working for Spigot, and they focus on innovation management. And this is even before the brainstorming process. So I think this gives a new taste to mind mapping and brainstorming. I think I'm really looking forward to the innovations. And what is new or what will come? I know some of you said that the software Facebook evolved way better and it looks not that sexy and so on. Yes, it's maybe true, but how many business can be visualized in Facebook, for example? One part. But in the end, there's always like before me was mentioned, there is a problem with technique, and therefore Mindjet is moving to HTML5. Yay! Which gives us a lot of new opportunities, and also this will be, I think this will hit right on the spot of sexy and nice software that is really powerful and looks good. Yeah. For any other questions, of course, we will have lunch now, but I don't want to spoil you. Thank you.